You see somebody that says something on Twitter or says something in an interview that is offensive to some group, and all of a sudden you start reading the messages they get. It's like, I hope you get ass cancer and die, you son of a bitch. I'll cut your throat. I'll come to your house and kill your children.
Let's be real, woke culture has gone completely off the rails. One minute, people are fighting for actual issues, and the next, they're canceling someone for a bad joke they made in 2006. It's like outrage has become a competitive sport, and social media is the stadium where everyone's throwing digital punches. But here's the kicker, Dr. Phil and Joe Rogan actually make sense. I know, shocking. In a world where common sense is practically extinct, these two are breaking down why cancel culture is a dumpster fire, and how social media has turned people into professional victims.
But you can't do that if you're really focused on winning an argument and being a right fighter instead of saying, let's solve the problem. We can't come out of this room till we solve the problem. And it's hard to do that if you're kind of agreeing just with what your side beats the drum on versus this side beats the drum on, instead of being commonsensical and saying, how do we solve this problem?
Yeah, I think very few people are able to argue without attaching themselves to ideas. So if their idea, when they have an argument about something, if you say something that they agree with, instead of accepting that you say something they agree with, they want to fight against it because they just want to be right. Very few people are good at ideas being discussed in arguments because the argument becomes very personal. Like, they think about their own self-worth and they attach it to being the winner of the argument. They want to use ad hominem attacks, insults, and trying to figure out a way to verbally joust with you to the point where they're successful.
Now, here's where things get real. Dr. Phil drops a truth bomb. Cancel culture should be counsel culture. But instead of having real conversations, people go full keyboard warrior mode. Someone says something mildly offensive, and within 5 minutes, they're getting death threats from people who can't even spell "your" correctly. The hypocrisy is insane. People cancel others for being hateful by being even more hateful. I mean, make it make sense.
When people start assassinating character, it's because their ideas won't withstand challenge. This cancel culture bullshit, cancel culture should be counsel culture. If you say something that's offensive to my values, I should counsel with you about it, not cancel you, not get everybody to hate you. You see somebody that says something on Twitter or says something in an interview that is offensive to some group, and all of a sudden you start reading the messages they get. It's like, I hope you get ass cancer and die, you son of a bitch. I'll cut your throat. I'll come to your house and kill your children. Are you kidding me? It's like, boycott this person, boycott this company. Where did we get to this? Now they're canceling each other. It should be counsel culture, not cancel culture. Let's sit down and talk about it. Let me educate you. Maybe you don't understand. Maybe when you do, you won't agree, but let's talk about this.
Rogan jumps in, pointing out that social media is just one giant playground for people who'd never dare say these things in real life. Like, imagine stepping in front of someone in an elevator and them saying, I hope you get cancer and die. You'd think they lost their damn mind, but online, totally normal Tuesday behavior. This is why road rage and Twitter rants feel the same. People act tough when they don't have to deal with the consequences.
Well, how many things do people type that they would not say to you in an elevator?
Yeah.
They had, like you said, they look you in the eye, or they were in an elevator. Same thing with road rage.
Yeah.
People blow the horn, yell stuff. They wouldn't say that to you if you step in front of them on an escalator.
Right.
They wouldn't say, you rat bastard. Yeah.
Right.
But they'll say it because they don't have to own it.
Right.
And so many of these people that jump on the bandwagon, they don't even know what they're talking about. They just see somebody jumping on somebody's ass. They go, hey, this is great. This will be fun.
Pile on.
Yeah. And they don't even know what they're talking about. And people's lives get ruined. And that's not solving a problem. That's just being a keyboard bully. And that's a terrible misuse of social media. It's terrible misuse of the internet.
Then we get to the best part, the irony of cancel culture. At first, the mob goes after celebrities, then companies, then regular people, but eventually they run out of victims and start turning on each other. Rogan's like, progressives start canceling other progressives for not being progressive enough. And honestly, that's the most poetic karma ever. One day you're fighting for justice, the next you're getting canceled for using the wrong pronoun. The cycle never ends.
And if you would counsel instead of cancel, we could really make some progress.
There's just very few people capable of thinking that way. They just, and social media unfortunately reinforces this idea, and it reinforces these tribal groups that connect to their ideology. They support these people in this little tribal group. The problem is that they step out of line at all. These people that are canceling, they run out of people to cancel, and they go after each other. They go out, progressives in particular. You're not progressive enough. They'll go after you for enabling.
Rogan wraps it up with a final mic drop. Censorship doesn't solve problems. It just buries them. The whole Kanye West situation, instead of actually having a discussion, people just tried to erase him. But erasing someone's voice doesn't make their ideas go away. It just makes them louder in the shadows. The best way to combat bad ideas? Challenge them with better ones. Lex Friedman sat down with Kanye and actually debated him. What a concept.
Yeah, I had somebody write an article the other day, some site I've never even heard of. It says Dr. Phil's become a platform for right-wing hate mongers or something. And they listed some shows where I'd had on people on the right giving them a voice. They went down through like 6 or 8 shows. And not one time did they mention that sitting right across from them was the other side.
At the end of the day, Dr. Phil and Joe Rogan aren't saying anything revolutionary. They're just suggesting that maybe, just maybe, people should talk to each other instead of trying to own each other in the comments section. Crazy idea, right? But hey, in a world where outrage is currency, common sense is the rarest thing of all. So what do you guys think? Are Dr. Phil and Joe Rogan onto something? Or should we all just go back to arguing over cartoon reboots and Twitter drama? Let me know in the comments. But remember, if you disagree, try counseling, not canceling.